So here we have the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. I've picked up the Creator Combo, actually just came today, so I thought I'd do a bit of an unboxing. I have looked at the Osmo 1 and the Osmo 2. They were looking pretty good, but the Pocket 3 was really the first one that made me think that I could use this as a viable alternative to using one of my main cameras. So I've picked up the Creator Combo, mostly because I wanted to use the mic that comes with it. I think that's probably going to be a big plus for me, given how many sound issues that I've had in the last couple of videos. So hopefully this one will help alleviate some of those issues. Okay, let's get it open. Gel packet, don't need it. Documentation. There is documentation online, so if you do want to go into the details a bit more, you can download the manual, but for the moment, don't need it. Okay, so before we go into the main packet, let's have a look and see what's in this one. So we have it here, so get rid of that. So this is the protective cover. So that's got, you can see that very well, but inside that has got a slot for the wide angle lens, also the black Pro Mist filter. Pretty solid, so that's a good thing. Okay, so onto the main package. Pretty sure we're not going to need that. Okay, so first thing out of the bag is, that looks like the extension, so the battery extender. Next thing out of the bag, we have another extender, so that's going to be allowing us to connect that to some other things. I do have an Osmo Action, so I've got a couple of other items which I was hoping to use with this, and we'll talk about that in a little minute. The microphone, the DJI Mic 2, so that's going to be really useful. The stand, so that's going to be good. The dead cat for the microphone, I'm assuming. Yep, so that's going to be useful. One lanyard, probably not going to use that. Okay, so this is the Osmo Pocket itself. Pull that off. Just going to give that a turn on to see if there's any battery involved. Look at that. Select English. Yep, I will activate that later. Yep, swipe, I'll activate that later. Yep. No SD card. Okay, so I've got to address that. But that looks like it's plugged, started okay. Probably got about 50% battery, which I was quite surprised with. Oh, look at that. Not moving an inch. That's really what I wanted to use this for, so that's going to be a big win for me, I think. USB cable, I've already got plenty of these, not going to need it. Another silica gel pack. Might actually be worthwhile keeping this in here just in case there's a little bit of moisture gets picked up from wherever I go. and I believe this one will be the magnet for the microphone. So that lets me connect to that. So the idea being is you can hook that onto your clothes. Alternatively, if you don't have something to hook it onto, you can actually put the microphone on the outside, put the magnet on the inside, connect them together, and they should theoretically not move. There's actually quite a strong magnet, so that's good to see. Probably shouldn't lay that down like that. So the wide angle, put that on there. So that's the wide angle. So quite a bit of a difference there. That's good. Okay, and that looks like that's locked itself away, so it's good to see that the lens itself is actually protected away, hiding behind the side of the gimbal. So yes, that's going to be good. The other couple of things that I wanted to try, I do have a couple of tripods. I wanted to see if I could actually add a tripod plate. So my thinking was that if I could plug these in and then use that to connect. So that should theoretically sit on a tripod quite nicely. It also gives me the ability to do a quick release rather than having to unscrew everything instead of using this tripod. The other thing that I've picked up when I was using the Osmo Action, I've had this one for quite a while, is basically an adapter for all the it's basically so it's two pieces essentially. That's the standard connector that you get for most of the Osmo Action connection plates. This one is an adapter that pretty much allows you to sit it on there like that, so I should be able to use that in this. And connect that through here. Screw that in. So, and that's great. So that's going to be allow me to use all of my extras that I have with the Osmo Action already. I have spare SD card, so this is a SanDisk Extreme Pro 512. I'm going to use that. I'm expecting to do a lot of 4K 60 frames per second, so I figured that's the biggest SD card that I could find for the moment. So plug that in. So I think that's it for the moment. The next step is to finish setting this up, and I will take this outside and actually see how it goes. So I've headed outside to give the Pocket 3 a bit of a test. I've taken a few minutes to connect the Mimo app on my phone, and that's connected with no problems at all.
Because I'm running Android though, I did have to download the app from the DJI website instead of going through the Play Store, so that was a bit interesting. It came up with a notice to update the firmware as soon as I connected the Mimo app, so that worked really well. I've also charged both the hand grip and the battery on the Pocket 3 itself. Both of them were set to about 50% when I got them, and it probably would have taken less than 2 hours to charge both of them, but that was on a slow charge. That wasn't on a fast charge or anything like that. I've looked through some of the default settings and I've made a couple of changes. So I've updated it to be 4K 60 frames per second, more to see what that's going to look like. I don't know if I'm going to keep it like that. That will produce some quite large files, so that's going to be a bit of a headache to try and edit later on. I've changed the brightness on the recording to be -1. I've also got to look at the sharpness and the noise reduction. I've left those as default at the moment. I still want to have a bit of a play around with that and see what kind of settings give me the kind of results that I'm looking for. I'd also changed the recording to be H.264 to get the max compatibility. I did a bit of a test record and loaded that into DaVinci, which is what I use to edit my videos, and it had a problem reading some of the files. Some of the slow motion files it read okay, but some of the normal files, normal recordings that I did, I had a bit of a problem. Turns out that the H.264 have been recorded in 10-bit with the normal recording, 8-bit with the slow motion. So that was the main issue. So I've changed it back to the default recording, which is HEV-C, which I think is essentially H.265. That'll give better compression, so smaller files, but again, when I'm editing in DaVinci, that's going to require a bit more processing to work with the files properly. So I've mentioned that the Pocket 3 was really the first version of the Pocket that I was interested in buying. There's a couple of reasons for that. Firstly was the sensor. It's got a 1-inch sensor, which gives better low light performance, which I'm looking forward to given that I do a lot of nighttime recording. And it also gives me more dynamic range, which means I'll be able to capture more detail in the color than the previous models. So one of the things I was actually looking forward to with the Creator Combo was getting hold of the Mic 2. I currently use an external microphone. It does have the dead cat in it to try and muffle any wind, but as you would have heard from some of the previous videos, sometimes that just doesn't work as well as I would expect it to. Having a wireless microphone also means too that I can actually walk away from the camera and still actually record what I'm trying to say. So that's good. There's a couple of nice features with the Mic 2. It has 32-bit float recording. To be honest, I'm not really sure what that means, but I do know that it gives you a wider dynamic range in terms of the audio, so that'd be good. Additionally, it also has 8 gigs of internal memory, so you can actually record to the Mic 2 separately as well as to the Pocket 3. So that can be kind of like a bit of a backup. You can't extend that memory at all. It's kind of set to 8 gig. There's no SD card you can put in there. So, but 8 gig, that's a lot of audio. So I don't imagine there'll be too many issues with that. So this is the recording from the Pocket 3. It's looking pretty nice in the back of the screen. It's got I think it's a 2-inch display on the back, which is, for me, it's wide enough to actually get an idea of what the scene looks like, how to line things up, things like that. Currently recording to the audio on the Pocket 3 itself, so I'm not too sure how well that's going to come out, but hopefully that's going to work pretty well. So I've just turned on the microphone as well. I don't know, again, this is going to be a bit of a test. I don't know if it's going to be too loud, too soft. I don't know if I need to raise my voice or be a bit quieter than normal. So I'm just trying to talk normally at the moment and see how that comes out. But that should give an example of the difference in the quality from the Pocket 3 compared to the DJI Mic 2 that comes with it. So I'm going to take this for a bit of a walk just to check out the stabilization while I'm walking. I do know that even though it's a 3-axis gimbal, sometimes walking along, unless you're careful with it, it can actually still give you bouncy video. So just going to look at that a little bit more. The controls on the back are quite easy to use. I have found that the D-pad, which controls the gimbal a little bit, I did have that on normal, but that was way too fast. So I do like the more cinematic looks. So I've changed the settings on the Pocket 3 just to give it some slower movement. Also, the buttons on the back are quite useful. You've got your record button, which is pretty obvious, but I've noticed hold the D-pad button down and essentially that locks the focus. so it kind of locks it into one location. Hopefully at the moment you can't actually see, but I'm actually moving the Pocket 3 backwards and forwards, and that seems to be maintaining the focus on where the camera was, which is quite a nice little feature. A bit of a double click and that will realign the gimbal and the lens to be straight ahead. And if I do a triple tap, that essentially turns the camera back to me to where it was. So this is the image from the Mimo app. Looks quite nice. The app itself is fairly easy to use. You've got all the same features on the app as you would have on the back of the screen. It just makes it a bit more accessible, I think. Don't know how often I will use the app though. I think it would be pretty nice just to have the Pocket set up ready to go, just for a bit of a run and gun kind of style. So just grab it and go and start taking some videos. I can see the advantage if you wanted to set up the Pocket and then move away somewhere, and you've still got the ability to control the Pocket even though you're not quite next to it. So that's the end of my unboxing and the quick review. Overall, I'm really happy with the Pocket 3. I think it's going to be quite useful, especially just be able to grab the camera really quickly, head outside, do some quick videos, do a bit of a chat. Also, I reckon it's going to be really good for some B-roll. Looking forward to using this quite a bit coming up. Thanks for watching to the end. Do appreciate it. Again, thanks for everyone out there for supporting the channel. If you are looking for a Pocket 3, definitely recommend it. And if you do want to pick one up, there is an affiliate link in the description below. If you use that, many thanks. I do appreciate it. So that's it from me, and I will see you out there next time.